Hey everybody, this is Luke Deutschlander here, and today we have Richard Plakowski with us. He just signed up for my phone flipping course a few months back and just basically hit $25,000 in sales last month after he's been in the course for a little bit, and just kind of wanted to bring him on today and just kind of, interview him and see what he's got to say. I kind of interview all of my students that, do exceptionally well with the course, and he's one of them, and he's got kind of a cool story too behind him. He was telling me that he was born and raised in Detroit. So Detroit, a lot of people kind of look down on Detroit just because, there's a lot of bad stuff that happens over in Detroit. And he said he'd been looking for opportunity for years since he had left high school. And, he's kind of dabbled in others, selling stuff like knives, knocking on doors for marketing, all kinds of stuff. And I just wanted to bring him on here for you guys today because I think you guys would be kind of interested to hear his story. So anyways, Richard, can you tell everybody just kind of like, where you came from and, where you're at now and just kind of, how sales are going and how phone flipping has kind of changed your life a little bit?
Yeah, well, my name is Rich Plakowski. I have been in sales and marketing for pretty much my entire professional life. Even early on, I always wanted to find something. I read a book. I think it was actually, curiously enough, it was called "Why We Want You to Be Rich" by Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump. Interestingly enough, and then I read it is a great book, and that like just changed my perception on everything as far as like business and what I really wanted to do with my life when I was 17. And since then, I've been on a pursuit for entrepreneurship, if you will. And I've joined a lot of different companies just for either A, to try to find something that would stick, a vehicle that would work for me, or B, at least help me gain some skills so that I could grow myself. And I finally came across something with phones that I saw was relatively simple, and I believed I had enough experience and skills to really jump into this. And even if I didn't make anything of it, at least I could start to start to really build something, maybe for something else, because I've also have some other plans, outside of flipping phones. For example, real estate, that's something that I've always wanted to do. So so I figured this could be a great hedgeway and to start building up into that. And then, so I've lived in Detroit most of my life. I moved out to Vegas for about 6 years when I was in high school. And
that's cool.
Just recently moved back. And then I'm not sure if was there something else you asked that you wanted me to
so that's good. Just a little bit of your background. I could just kind of wanted to tell people because I've had a couple people from Detroit message me actually and saying, like they live in bad neighborhoods and stuff. They don't think that they can do this. And so I kind of wanted to bring you on because you did do 25,000 in a month after, taking the course and everything. And that's kind of what I wanted to tell people too, is that, you can do phone flipping in pretty much any area. And then I wanted to ask you, so what point or what point did you get to that you kind of wanted to, like jump into my course, and why did you pick mine like over some of the other ones out there? And just kind of wanted to get your opinion, like if the course helped you, what your sales were at and what they're at now. Because for what some of you guys don't know is Rich was actually flipping phones a little bit before he got into the course, but his sales weren't at what they were at now after taking the course.
Yeah, so I was at about like 15,000. I was working part-time for a company in sales, and then I moved from sales to marketing with that company. So I went down from like 5 to 6 days a week and went to just like 2 or 3 days a week just to have something stable, quote unquote. Yeah.
Right.
And then I went up to about 15,000, and I hovered around there between 15 and 18,000 for like 3 months. And then I came across Luke's videos, and really the one that stood out to me was just I'm a big fan of I guess maximizing time and each deal. So I saw one of the deals that you went out. I think you made like it was like $800 on one deal, and that was terrific. Because I didn't, the idea, because I saw a lot of other courses that were One in particular, he talked like, I mean, I felt like he had a great business model. I just wanted to build up myself first, though. Like he had he had built up stores, and it was very widespread. I just wanted to stay focused on myself because and maximize my own sales. Not necessarily, and just I like just what you brought to the table, just hustling and being the guy basically in your market. Like I mean
Right.
that's what I want to be. I mean I don't want to be, I guess, like known for anything else but buying and selling phones. I mean that's what I just want to focus on that aspect, and that's what I felt I saw that you did really really well at. And I joined the group, and I can't say that there was something that was tremendous amount of knowledge I got. I mean, there's great knowledge if you haven't done this before and you haven't done sales or marketing, but like all that I've been exposed to. But it was just really raising the standard, and building up my confidence to see that actually really you can go out there and you don't have to. Like for me, I wanted to like buying sealed phones and buying new phones. I was always like nervous about spending $500-600. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm just gonna buy the broken phones, the bad ESN phones for like 200 to 400, right?
Right.
And yeah, you can't really. I just I started just really going out there, and I had the capital and I had the confidence. Like, what's the difference? I mean, if I make say I drop 600 and I make $100, that's still $100 in profit.
Right.
Maybe letting go because I was like, oh, I couldn't get X margin, or like I couldn't
Right.
make 20%. I mean, if it's a solid deal and they're willing to come to me, I mean,
Why
I,
not?
I know what I'm looking at. I know exactly. I know this business now. I mean, what am I waiting on? So that was really, I'd say, just raising the bar in my standard of just letting go of some of the excuses.
Right. So you're saying basically kind of like being around like a bunch of like-minded individuals once you got into the paid group, like it just kind of helped kind of push you to the next level, basically, just because, you probably had some thoughts of, oh, what if I buy 3 sealed phones or something and then I get scammed or they're fake, etc. But being around people in the group and seeing there's other people buying them and not having issues, that I suppose that probably reassured you, got
Well,
you.
then, well, yeah. And then there was also just like this weird conversation I'd have, like, oh, I'm not making enough money for the amount of money that I was investing. Which there still maybe is a certain line that you want to draw, but I felt like I was being a little bit too conservative too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to take risks, right? No risk, no reward. So, that's awesome though. So right now, it is September 30th. I'm not sure if you can show us. Rich was saying earlier to me that his computer was kind of freezing up, but I was wondering if you could. Is there any way you could show people what your sales are at now,
Yeah,
on eBay?
yeah, I have it here. I have a backup computer, just the one I like. It wasn't working so well.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's always the way it goes. Technology is great when it works, right?
yeah, so this is where I'm at, guys, for the last 31 days.
Awesome. So
Yep.
you went from 15,000 a month on eBay to now 25,000, closing in on probably 30 maybe by next month after getting in the course, the group, and just kind of pushing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. Cool, Rich. Well, yeah, that's super awesome and everything, and I'm super stoked that, I mean, you're at 25,000 in sales for the month. I mean, that's killer. Anybody out there, I mean, if you're doing 10, 15,000 a month, that's really good too. But getting up to 25 to 30,000 a month, that's just really being on the next level. And then after that comes 40 to 50,000. So I had one thing to ask, I guess, Richard, for anybody out there who's kind of like procrastinating, maybe like taking my course or just procrastinating in life. Kind of like you said, like you stumbled for a little bit, kind of, we're trying to find your place, you were here, you were there. What's some advice you could give somebody out there that maybe either is just starting to flip phones or maybe somebody who's just starting to like try and open their mind to being an entrepreneur?
The thing that I always go back to is, I feel like is action, just really getting started, and getting moving. I feel there's a tremendous power once you build momentum, and that's where, I believe, you've been able to capitalize on and with your course in particular, and where you're headed with, this mastermind group. I mean, you've been able to organize I mean, from just like seeing, like, once you're in action, like, just results start to come. I mean, it's amazing what happens. I mean, whether or not you succeed, or you fall short, at the end of the day, you still will learn. You can get back up and out there. I mean, that's really what it's about. I mean, yeah, for any venture you're in, I haven't stopped. Like, I mean, for the last, like, 6-7 years since I've been out of high school, like, I haven't, like, from one opportunity to the next. Like, if I didn't see this was going to give me the financial freedom I wanted, I moved on. I mean, people thought, like, I had one of my managers. He was like, "What do you like?" Because he wanted me to go back to college, and he means very well, and he's still I look up to, and he's a very successful guy. But I just knew my path was going to be, in business and in sales and marketing. I knew that. I just knew it. If you have that calling for your life, and you feel that you've got this energy with you, just go for it. I mean, and if you're questioning whether or not to jump into a course like Luke's, I'd say just get into it and question it afterwards, after you're already in action. Like, you can't really, I mean, just like the old adage goes, like, you can't, like, worrying, like it's like when you're in a rocking chair, it's just the same thing. It's like, if you're in this place where you don't know what to do, I mean, best thing to do is just take a step forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's good advice, Rich. There you guys have it. So, Rich, like I said, join the course, $25,000 a month, doing awesome. Hopefully I'm going to spend some one-on-one messaging time with him a little bit. I want to get him to $30,000 a month, and, have him keep going from there. Lives in Detroit, doing super awesome. I think that's great advice. I mean, one of the best things you can do in life, regardless whether it's signing up for a course, whatever, just take action, just do it. You got to try, guys. You can't give up, and you got to take action. So, with that being said, yeah, I appreciate you coming on here, Rich, and, doing a little interview with me, and, glad everything's going awesome for you, and hope to see you, at $30,000 a month next month. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Right. Thank you, Luke.